What is going on, everybody? What's going on? Man, I'm trying to tell you, if y'all know what we did to just try to get this stream popping, y'all really, really appreciate us like so much, man. Y'all really appreciate what we try to do today. We was rolling, we was supposed to go live a half hour ago, but we was trying to fuss and fight with this restream, trying to get the picture on, the camera wouldn't come on, all kind of crazy things, you know what I'm saying? Was not making it happen, but the IT guy the IT guy
Yeah.
made it happen. Finally got it going on. I got my dog Brandon Tucker here once again. We're gonna be talking QB hunters, man. I've been waiting for this one because I've been checking that list, and you got a fire list this year. But what's up, dog?
Hey man, the grind is real. The grind is real right now. Pre-draft is crazy this year.
Yeah, it's super crazy because of COVID. So, I'm already frustrated because I couldn't go to the combine this year. I was already had my ticket ready, all ready to go. And then I knew it was gonna come up like this. Let me give a few shout outs to the people that's jumping in the building. My dog, the ninja, Mikey, everybody's gonna come in the building, might be coming in late because they thought it was gonna be early, but it's all good. But it's a different type of thing. But before we jump into any of that, let everybody get a quick explanation of who you are, what you do, for people that don't know you. You've been on the channel hella times, but for people who want to know, who is Brandon Tucker?
Right. So Brandon Tucker, I'm a defensive line player development specialist. So I work with defensive linemen from as young as they can pay attention, all the way up to professional guys. And so I also do pre-draft prep, so combine prep, pro day prep, and we my training company is called Trench Warfare. We're based in North Texas, out of Plano. So been doing defensive line training full time since 2012. And so the space that we occupy, it's really a niche. It's really a niche industry. And so been blessed to be in this space for sure.
And well, you already been in this space. I mean, you're being real kind of humble right now. That's all good and stuff. But I mean, let them know what kind of Cowboys. I mean, because we already know about some of the Cowboys you've dealt with, and just recently who you've put back in the fold that was a pretty much a really good comeback type player of the year type thing.
Yeah. So this past season, I worked with Alden Smith, getting him ready to make a comeback after 5 years. I also worked with Tristen Hill and the rookie Neville Gallimore. So I had those three guys this year. And in the
Now,
past, I've
yeah,
had
talk about them. Talk
everybody in
about
the room.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've had everybody in the room before. So I've worked with Tank, Malik Collins. Basically, the only player I haven't worked with for the Cowboys in, let's say, the last 4 seasons is Tyrone Crawford. Everybody else at one point did some type of work with me.
Man, so before we jump into these draft guys, let's talk about, because you were on the show and we were talking about Tristen Hill, Alden Smith, and then even Gallimore. And I think everybody's really excited. And I mean we talk about all three for real. Now, Alden Smith, he came in like gangbusters. I mean, he came in like for real. Like everybody was excited, hit the 4 sacks early. Maybe hit a little bit of a wall just because you haven't played in 5 years. So for real, for you to end the season with about 50 tackles, like almost 6 sacks, I mean, after sitting out 5 years, I mean, that's pretty amazing. What's your kind of thoughts on, just Alden? And you think, because the Cowboys already talking about they want him to come back. What do you think? You're pretty close with Alden now because y'all formed a nice little friendship. What's your kind of thoughts with Alden in the future? You think Cowboys are really in the future, or, is maybe look at some other options, or, what's going on with that?
So as it relates to Alden, obviously there's other teams that are going to be, interested in him because he's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it's a secret that the Cowboys have expressed interest in re-signing him. as far as having a new defensive staff in, and him coming back to the team, and I think it's a better fit with the new staff, just
Mm-hmm.
because of how Auburn was played last year. Um, and he and I have had extensive conversation about this. He took the third most snaps on the team on the
Right.
defense,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so whether he would have been playing the last 5 years or not playing the last 5 years, he's an elder statesman, and so it blew my mind that he took as many snaps. He took almost 78% of the snaps. Okay. And so I think that's why you saw the production drop. All right. And you remember now he went through all of camp. He didn't take any veteran days off.
Right.
He went through all of camp. He took 78% of the snaps. I mean, and so that would have been difficult on anyone. No one else took that amount or that volume except the linebackers, and you expect for them to do it, right?
Right.
So I think as the season wore on, as with anything else, I mean, it's just unimaginable to, you know, basically come off the couch and take that amount of volume and
Mm-hmm.
expect him to be uh, productive and successful. He probably should have taken about, realistically, he's a specialist at this point in his career. And, obviously, you know, short down situations, pass rush situations, he should have been utilized, as though you would treat a veteran player of his caliber. And so I think the staff that has come in and what they're talking about doing in the draft, I think that's potentially in the plans for him if they're
And
able
yeah,
to do
that and that's a good thing. And that's interesting that you said that. 5 years hasn't played 70%, over 70% of the snaps, and a lot of people were clamoring, "Where's Randy Gregory?" Because we were asking. I mean, and it was no slight on Alden, but you got a Randy Gregory who's young and fresh. He hasn't played in forever, and he's ready to get them legs going, and he's only playing like 10 snaps in one game, 11
that.
snaps, and we're like, "Where the hell's going on?"
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a lot of dysfunction um,
Yeah.
on the defensive side of the ball this year. So hopefully things will get better for sure.
Definitely hopefully get better. Well, you got two young guys that are and a lot of people love Gallimore, you know what I mean?
Right,
Because he came in we're not gonna say this came in like wide eye, but he came in slower. But when you're coming in as a defensive tackle and you were used differently at Oklahoma and you're coming in, um, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to grow. It's hard for those guys 21, 20, 21 years old, and you're playing that three tech and one tech. You're playing against these grown men to come in and just dominate. And plus, he played in Canada, maybe had to catch up a little more. But when he got the playing time after they had the release of the players of Poe and even Griffin, and he started getting some work and there were some injuries along that line, he went from here, B, to here quickly. So I think that's what
right.
got a lot of people excited. And he's one of those guys that's an energetic guy that's always wanting to
Right.
get better. So kind of tell us about him when you worked with him. We're all excited about him.
So I mean, you hit the nail on the head when he was at OU. He to basically run through the gaps the same way that Marinelli allowed the Cowboys when he was here to play. If you're three technique, and so Neville wasn't accustomed to using his hands and getting into a fit, uh, and he had to learn that you just can't jet up the field. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was one of the things that we worked on, and a lot of people might not know this, but Gerald McCoy also worked with Neville closely, to shorten that learning curve. And you saw him, like you said, you saw him take off toward the end
Yes.
of the season as he kind of became comfortable with the speed of the
Mm-hmm.
game,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just a longer acclimation period, and to be quite frank, in all fairness to Neville, he was not expected to have to play this year.
Right.
So if Gerald doesn't get hurt, if Poe doesn't do whatever it was he was doing,
Right.
And you have Tristen, you had Antoine Woods. Neville was going to be able to be brought along slowly and groomed to play the position instead of having to be thrown in there in the fire like he was. So he responded well. Like you said, he played outstanding toward the end of the year, and you saw why the Cowboys drafted him where they did.
Yeah, and like I said, the I'm excited about him because just like I said, you can play. He's going to be that 3 tech, but you can slide him in at times at that 1. He's versatile enough. He's getting bigger, and that first year is that learning year of NFL. You're getting in the weight room now, and you're getting that NFL way. You're eating. It's different now, and I just feel like that experience, especially when he had that trajectory of playing 5 to 6 games as quickly as he learned, and you had, like you said, Gerald McCoy really was schooling them, and you could see it. You could see it on the field where he was doing different things on the field, and you were like, okay. So when you heard about Gerald McCoy helping him, it's like, okay, I started putting 2 and 2 together because it was making sense now when I was seeing it on the field, and he was already having that ability. He had the ability, and he wants to learn. He wants to soak up that knowledge. He wants to get better, and I think that's why everybody's really excited about him. Now, we have another guy. They just had an article on him on DallasCowboy.com. And you talked about him the year before you had him. We were like, I don't know about Tristen. And you got him. You're like, hey, guess what? This guy, he don't talk a lot. He don't do this, but he goes to work. And it's sad that he, messed up. He had the knee injury because we started seeing flashes of what a Tristen Hill can do as a pass rusher, the quick first step that he has. He's got good size, and you could see that he was getting better. So what are your kind of thoughts of Tristen Hill? Are you going to work with him again this season, or what are your kind of thoughts on him? Because I think this is a critical year for him in year 3.
For sure. Obviously with Tristen, we want to make sure that he's healthy, right? So we've had this conversation of what the training program and what the regimen is going to look like. So yes, I'll have him. He'll be back with me. And again, our number one priority right now for him is to not rush the rehab process. Let's make sure that first and foremost that we're healthy and we come back stronger than we were when we left or when we got injured. So I expect great things for Tristen, and I expect for him to do the same thing that he did last preseason. He really took advantage of having a new staff,
right?
And it could be a cloud, silver lining. Guess what? He's got a new staff, so he's been there for the 3rd season, and it's his 3rd defensive staff. And so we're going to approach the same way that we approached last season. We're going to make an incredible first impression on these guys and let them we're here to contribute and be a starter and leave a footprint on this league.
Yeah, he's going to have to make a footprint because, like I said, I'm expecting him because I said, it's a good thing when you had a Tristen Hill, even though he didn't step up that early time. If you had him and a Gallimore, don't get rid of him. You want to pair those young guys together because 2 heads are better than 1. So you want to be able to pair those guys together and be able to flex those guys, have a good rotation to keeping guys fresh, and you got guys that can be able to push the pocket, both of them. That's an exciting thing. But I think, once again, year 3, this is going to be a critical year for Tristen. I'm hoping that he can. But there's some guys, because you've been training some guys, big dog. Like the last few years, you've been training some guys.
I can see these comments, man. Listen. So in the past, when we visit, I couldn't see comments, right?
Yeah, so you can see them now,
Yeah, this is bananas, bro. It says Tristen needs to step up this year, right?
Hey, you right here.
What? I mean, in defense of my guy, right? That's one of my guys now. When did he not step up? Right, his rookie year. I mean, bad room. Okay, in the NFL, it's not all about the players; it's about the scheme, it's about the coaches, it's about the situation that they're put in. And his rookie year, he was in a bad room. Next year he gets hurt. So to say he needs to step up, that's just like you go to work and you brought in to do one job and something else goes on. Now you're spinning. Then they change your supervisor, and what? I mean, this is just like life, man. I mean, things happen. You saw two really good football players get pushed out of a room, and that was Taco Charlton, who went elsewhere and played outstanding, and Tristen Hill. So, I got to defend my guy a little bit, man, to step up. Hey, man, has he had the opportunity, right? I mean, when you get injured, you expect for him to come back and have a great year. You saw Tank get hurt. How was his year the following season? All right, so injuries are part of it. I think sometimes there's a disconnect between these guys are human beings, right? These guys are human beings. Your expectations, is it Justin D?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your expectations don't tie in with what that football organization trying to do. That's, as a fan, at some point you gotta understand that. And you gotta appreciate that, right? So I'm sorry, I digress. I gotta defend my guys sometimes, man. Yeah, that's tough. He says for a second round pick, we're expecting a disruptor.
Well, here's the thing,
everybody, right?
Right, but I'm gonna say this. So I think what people are saying is this: he's a second round guy. This is year 3, and
Right.
he had the injury. So I think just like I'm in my opinion, how I was saying was this is a critical year for him, because this is a whole new staff. They're not tied to him because this isn't that staff that drafted him, so they're not tied to him. They're going to Dan Quinn is probably going to get a couple defensive tackles. That's his MO, is getting defensive tackles. He usually gets a guy no less than I think 305, around 310. He usually gets 2 of them. And I think with this draft, especially you got some guys. This is a good defensive tackle draft. So they could possibly get 2 guys in there. That's the case, and they get a 3-tech. Let's say if they get a Marvin Wilson, big dog. Well, guess what, big dog? Tristen Hill got some fire competition now. So that's where Tristen Hill going to have to be on it, because Marvin Wilson ain't going to be coming around to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure, man. You want that type of heat.
That's what I want.
Yeah. So, but Tristan's a 3, right? Tristan's a true 3. Marvin's a nose. So 2 different positions.
You think Marvin's gonna play the 1? You don't think he's gonna play the 3 in the league? He's so good. I mean, you got him trimmed, dog. I know he 315, but he trim.
Man, listen, the big fella looks good, right?
Right.
APEC and Fort Worth, man. My hat's off to Bobby Stroop for what he does for his guys, as far as a performance standpoint. Yeah, he's got Marvin looking fantastic. But he can play the 3, but he is an ideal nose guard, man. This dude plays with tremendous power and force. His knockback game is incredible. So you put him over a center, it's going to be tough for him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, let's talk about them already, since we're talking about, because I feel like he's going to be able to play the 1 and the 3, and I feel like they're going to be able to slide them both.
Yeah.
You got him, but I feel like that pass rushing, because I seen his pass rushing ability. When I watched that North Carolina game, I seen quite a few of his games, but I actually did one game where I just actually did a tape of him, and he dominated, especially in that second half of that game. Shout out to my dog, the Lunatic, for the $2 holla. He said, let's go ahead and flex our DTs and stop the run. I feel you, dog. You know what I'm saying? But you got some, you got some hammers over there this year. You got Marvin Wilson this year. I'm gonna name these guys, and then we're gonna shoot at some of the guys that I'm excited about, and then you kind of maybe talk about them. So you got Marvin Wilson from Florida State, Tyler Shelvin, who a lot of people are talking about with Dallas. A lot of people. Them 2 top guys are being talked about because they can be had by Dallas. You feel me? Bobby Brown from Texas A&M. Man, you talked about Bobby Brown, the size and everything, but I worry about the consistency. Peyton Turner, don't know too much about Houston. Patrick Jones, he a dog. He be
Yeah.
coming off that edge. He a lot of people gonna like him. Janarius Robinson from Florida State, he another one that could be real good. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Taron
Yep.
Jackson, Coastal Carolina, think he's a sleeper. Anthony Hines, Texas A&M, I don't know too much about him. Rashard, is it Hamilcar?
Hamilcar. Yep.
Oregon State,
Oregon State.
Chauncey
Yeah.
Golden, Chauncey Golston from Iowa. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Right.
He's a little slept on player too, I think.
Yeah.
William Bradley King from Baylor,
Yep.
Mustafa Johnson from Colorado, and Michael. I do not know this name.
Yeah, we call
Dumbo?
him me. Don't worry. Mike
D.
D, baby. Mike D.
Mike D for record. Mike
Yeah,
D.
man.
So,
Yeah.
big dog, you got a hell of a list. I mean, like I said, you've been putting them out from your training to the league. You've been doing them. So now you got another really good cast. And I want to talk about Marvin Wilson first because I really like Marvin Wilson. And I'm gonna tell and I know you're training these guys, but I want you to just be telling me straight up too. I know you be
Yeah.
training them, and I ain't trying to get the negatives because I know you're training them. But Marvin, when I watch dog, his ability is just, I mean, his hand placement, his hand fighting, it's just like he knows where to go. I know he was a highly recruited player coming out of high school. It's
Number
kind of
one.
like he just gets it. It's like he born to play the game. When you see those kind of guys that kind of born to play the game. I think his nickname, I don't know if it is his name, it was Real Life Goon. I think that was what it was
Head
in high
honcho.
school. Yeah, head honcho now.
Yeah.
So, but dog, for real, I thought he was a little maybe out of shape in 2020, and then he had the leg injury. I seen a totally different Marvin Wilson, and they already said that the ability. I mean, you already seen the ability, but I was worried about the hot and cold. Is he going to run high? Is he going to run cold? Is he going to be motivated? But when I'm seeing this right there already, I'm getting excited because I mean he's looking good. Kind of expand upon Marvin Wilson. What's really good about him, what he can really add to the team. If the Cowboys were to look at a Marvin Wilson, what can he really add to the team? Like straight up.
Man, you with the big fella, you're gonna get a fiercely intense competitor. He wants to be great. It's funny with him. Things have come full circle. I actually had to coach against him when he was in high school, and we couldn't do a damn thing with him. And he went on to Florida State and had a really good career. And like I said, things came full circle, and I have him for pre-draft training. Just big, strong, powerful, has an incredible football IQ. Football for him is just like a fish swimming. I mean, it's just second nature. I mean, everything about the game he absorbs, and his competitive nature and his just normal demeanor. If looks could kill, everyone that walks by him would be dead. I mean, this dude is dialed in, locked in all the time, man, and he's been a joy to work with. He's made everything really, really easy for me. He responds well to instructions. He's an extremely hard worker. Anybody that picks him up is going to have an outstanding football player.
Well, so let's say Dallas gets him. Okay,
Yep.
You just said all that. Where does he fit in? Because we just mentioned Tristen Hill. We just mentioned Gallimore. Now you're saying the one. I'm saying they're gonna move him around. I don't feel like they would strictly keep him at the one because I feel like that's gonna kind of do a disservice, maybe. But Dan Quinn has the cover three. He's running more of a zone, and they said he's doing more of the one gap again, where the guys don't have to think so much and they can just react. Would he be successful more at a one or at a nose right there, or him sliding him around? Where you think he would be successful in that room now with the Dan Quinn, from what maybe from afar, or what you see in there?
I mean, Marvin's versatile enough to play both the positions. both the 1 and the 3. When Dan Quinn was in Atlanta, I saw him run multiple fronts. All right, so if you had to put him in a 4 or a 4-eye, which I saw him run when I had Chris Odom, who was with the Falcons, that's what they ran. They ran a odd surface, and so Marvin is versatile enough and athletic enough to play both the interior positions, and he's going to pass rush quarterback. I think, and this is important. This is important. The way you see guys play in college sometimes isn't a true representative or representation of the type of player that they are. Right? If the scheme doesn't call for him to rush the quarterback or he's pulled off the field during pass rush situations, we don't know what type of pass rusher he is. I think everyone knows he can stop the run. And so coming into the NFL, depending on what type of scheme and team he's put into, you potentially have the opportunity to see what type of player he really is. And I'm going to give you an example. Rashard Lawrence at LSU played a 4-eye. Goes to Arizona, guess what he plays? Nose guard. And he really beat centers up before he had a calf injury. And so totally different position than what he played in college versus what he played in the NFL. And I think Marvin kind of falls into that same category. If the Cowboys pick him up, I think it's an ideal situation for him because he thrives off of double teams. Right. So he'll be really, really successful in that group of defensive linemen. Right. Because you have a Tank, because you have an Alden, because you have a Randy Gregory, it's going to be pick your poison. And I said that last year before everything kind of snowballed. Yeah, man, I expect for them, if he gets picked up there, it's a good fit for sure.
That would be a really, really good fit. That would be a really, really good fit. Just to listen to a lot of people talking about Tyrone Crawford, Granny Hips, talking about the free agents because, there's some free agents out there I've been talking about. I'm not jumping out saying I've been talking about them, but I brought my guy on here, kind of live say on here about a couple months ago, and we've been talking about Dalvin Tomlinson from New York. He's been the guy that I've been really looking at. And then I watched him play the Cowboys at the end of the year. And I mean, he was like, okay. And he's 27. So he's somebody that can make a splash. And then if you I'm telling you, man, I'm saying, I'm just going to keep trying to speak it into existence. Marvin Wilson to the Cowboys, Marvin Wilson to the Cowboys. There's another guy I would be cool with as well. And we're about to bring him up next. But I'm telling you, if Marvin Wilson came with the Cowboys, Dallas would be very happy with that pick. Very, very happy. It's like you said, if he played with Tank and Randy Gregory, and if they brought Alden back, I really think he would shine. I think he would have a really good rookie year. I just feel it. I think any team, but I think it would be a good system for him to start out with, and I think he could be really good with the Cowboys. Just my opinion on that one. And then now we're talking about a guy that I'm going to give my dog Jay Tuck, Cowboys fan only. He was talking about this guy. He made a video of him actually. He sat out his 2020 season. He was an opt-out guy, won a national championship the year before. He's a big boy like the Cowboys need. Like if they needed a one tech, this is the one tech. He to me, not 3, he not 5, he not 7. He 1 or 0. He's 0 or 1. And that's Mr. Tyler Shelvin. That's a big guy, man. And he could fall to the Cowboys, definitely. And you said you've been working with Tyler since October. I know a lot of people want to hear about Tyler Shelvin, man. Talk to us about Tyler Shelvin, because I got a little bit of concerns, mainly weight. But tell me about Tyler Shelvin, especially since he opted out. What's the goods on him?
So, like you said, we had Tyler came into the facility, and I train at just about every major facility in Texas. So you've got Michael Johnson Performance in McKinney. You've got Exos in Frisco, and then you have APEC down in Fort Worth. So I've got Tyler at Exos in Frisco, and he came in October.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got him, like I said, with COVID, there was really no spring football. He made the decision not to come back or not to return to school. And so we just basically did football practice with the big fella.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We wanted to make sure that he stayed, active. I mean, could you imagine, sitting out and it not being due to injury, right? So
right.
we wanted to make sure that he kept his football feet underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
And just it's unbelievable what Tyler is able to do. And I don't know if I just shot you a video. Did you see the video I just shot you?
Yeah, I seen the video.
So that's a guy that's 315 plus, right? I'm gonna let him step on the scale at his pro days. You can see how much he weighs. But a guy of his size to have that type of athleticism and burst is just absolutely phenomenal. You talk about Marvin. I mean, Marvin is incredible. Tyler is in a different category, right? Because he's so massive, man. I mean, this dude is huge.
He's big, man. Like, that dude is gigantic.
I just sent you. Oh, did I send you a picture of he and I? Hold on, I'm gonna send you a picture.
Yeah, and you a big dude.
Man, I try.
And you look small to him.
Small, man.
You feel me? You a big dude, and I'm like, dang.
Yeah, let me send you a picture of Tyler and I sitting together so you can just kind of see the scale. Man, this dude is huge, man. And when I first saw him, let me send this to you. When I first saw him, meeting him, soft spoken, very, very mannerable. Again, I've been blessed to have guys that are eager to learn and Tyler's been fantastic the entire time that I've had him. So there's an extended period. There normally combine training is 5 to 8 weeks. Hell, I've had him since October. So gotten to know him really, really well. And so he's gonna make somebody really, really happy for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now, like I said, those are two guys that I would say would be definitely excited. Now, coming in with Tyler, if the Cowboys drafted Tyler, what instantly would he add to the Cowboys right now?
Now there's your nose. There's your one.
Now is he a guy? Now let me ask you this: is he a guy? Because is he a guy that he's not going to play a lot of downs though? Is he? I mean, is he a 2-down guy, and then you're going to rotate him because he's not going to be the 3-down guy, in my opinion, because he's so damn big.
Man, that dude can rush the passer.
I don't know. You have to see that.
But listen, one of the things that every day with Tyler, I tell him the same thing. You're a pass rusher, right? At LSU, he was not asked to rush the passer at LSU. That wasn't part of what that scheme called for from him. This dude is a pass rusher, man. His burst, his quickness, his hands. I mean, he can rush the passer, man. And if you look at that video that I sent you, and you see him working some of those bags, man, this dude can go. He can go. So he's a 3-down guy. He's a 3-down guy. He's talking about a collegiate national champion that played SEC football, and SEC football sometimes can be just as physical as the NFL in the trenches.
Yeah, definitely. Let me give a shout out to my guy, Justin D. He gave the $20 holla Definitely appreciate you for the $20 holla. And he says, in honor of our QB being signed, finally respect. Yeah, definitely. Finally, I ain't gonna go there because I still got things that I got to say about them Joneses. But hey, like I said, better late than never, and we don't have to hear this controversy. And now they can move on and try to hopefully get some free agents in the building, and get some players. Like I said, you got two people that we already been excited about. Well, at least I'm already excited about. Um, B and Tyler and Marvin. Number one, like I said, Marvin, because I feel like he is versatile enough. You can switch him. I think he's just, I don't know. It's just something about him. I think he's, like you said, he's what is it, head honcho?
So, baby, head
Yeah,
honcho.
head honcho. I just feel like he got that cockiness that the Cowboys kind of need. I think that's what it kind of
Yeah.
is. He got that cockiness that the Cowboys, I feel like they need in that middle. The Cowboys haven't really had a real cocky guy in the middle. We know about David Irvin, but one of them guys where it's just like, come follow me. I'm about to just take this the way I want. I feel like, and I like Gallimore, but I love his attitude, but it's just something different about Wilson. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Gallimore. You feel what I'm saying? It's just something different to me about Wilson. I really like to see if they give him the building. Shelvin, I love the size. Like I said, he got to show me he can pass rush. So if you keep on telling him in his head he a pass rusher, I'm gonna roll with you. But I don't see that yet. But I see hella run stopping. I see him getting after that running back. I see him being like the old Gilbert Brown doing the shovel. I like to see all that. You feel me? The grave digger. You feel me? I like to see all that with Shelvin. So that would get me excited. Now, there's a guy that I talked to you about, and I said, man, he got all the size. He got the ability, but he's a little too inconsistent for me, man. But this is a guy that you have right now, and Bobby Brown. Kind of tell me about him and kind of what's your thoughts on Bobby Brown, and then I'm gonna go through some players that maybe some guys that we ain't heard about that kind of watch out for him.
Yeah. So Bobby Brown is a first round talent.
Yeah, I think so. But
yeah, and I'm not gonna put a but.
Right. I feel you.
Bobby Brown is a first round talent. The combination that he possesses of size, strength, speed, he's gonna blow people away with his measurables.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
He's huge. He's fast, and he's explosive. We're talking about a guy plus 300 pounds that can stand flat footed under the basketball and windmill under the goal. Right. I mean, this dude he's just.
He looks like an athletic freaky.
Oh man, and he really looks like Bobby Brown. I mean, he looks like a big Bobby Brown, bro. It's crazy.
It's crazy when I heard the name. Like like Bobby Brown's name is so damn strong that anytime I hear anybody named Bobby Brown, like that's the route I'm going. And then I looked at him and I didn't look at it like that. But now that you said it, I'm gonna go back and do a double take. Like, do we look like Bobby Brown?
Really looks like he really looks like Bobby Brown. Yeah. He's had, obviously there's been, a bunch of talk about his inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that he's gonna have to disprove. That's something that he's gonna have to show, for whatever reason, right? I wasn't at A&M with him. I don't know what was going on down there. I have no clue. Mm-hmm. But that tag is out there on him. I mean, you're not the only person that said that. So, I've had him in training. He responds with me. So, I think that he will be a really, really good pro. I do. For whoever picks him up. As far as the Cowboys go, if the Cowboys were to pick him up again, he's versatile enough to play both the nose and the three. If you go look at his film at A&M, his first year down there, he played defensive end.
Mm-hmm. He looks like he could play an end.
Oh man,
he looks like he could play all down the line. Like
absolutely,
he looks like he could play a 5. definitely a 5 because he looks like he could rush, slide in, slide out. Like he's a versatile guy. Like I said,
Yeah.
I would love to see him just be more consistent because I do think he has the talent. I've seen the talent. I've seen it on the field. It's just like, man, I want to see the more consistent of that play in, play out. Because if you can get that from him, play in and play out, especially if people say, well, he wasn't consistent enough in college and maybe he drops because of that, B, and then he gets on a team and shows, well, hey, maybe I dropped because they thought this, and now I'm going nutty. I feel like they will get a steal if he brings it every single day and every single game. I feel like a team will get a steal if he does that.
Right. No, I mean I agree. Again, I don't know what he did uh, to to get that tag, to get that reputation of inconsistency, because he's been consistent with me, right? So, um, you know, it's all the time. People react differently to certain situations, and
Mm-hmm.
so as it relates to Bobby, no matter what people's opinion of him are, just look at the production.
Mm-hmm.
And from a production standpoint, you're talking about the anchor on the number 6 team in the country. And that's what Texas A&M was this past year, right? They finished number 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's their Bobby Brown was the anchor. He allowed Buddy to be able to go sideline to sideline.
Mm-hmm.
And so, everybody's opinion aside, I try to look at production, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that dude, um, he did what he needed to do because the staff at A&M, if they can find somebody, regardless of class, that's going to give them a better opportunity to win, they're going to put them on
Mm-hmm.
the field.
Right.
And so, I've got really, 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 really high hopes and expectations for Bobby, no matter who picks him up.
Yes, definitely. Now, hey, what's up, Miss Charles? How you doing? Now, I'm gonna just throw out some names, and you tell me, man, he might be a little slept on. This kid can whatever, and because you may not remember the names offhand because you got a lot of them. But I'm gonna just throw some names out to you. Um, Patrick Jones, Pittsburgh.
Sheesh, boy. Um, I actually had a extended conversation about Patrick today. Um, uh, tremendous, relentless guy coming off the edge for Pittsburgh. Production was off the chart. Um, you know, he's a student of the game. And I had a chance to sit down and visit with Chuck Smith today. Now, I mean, everybody remembers
Yeah, I
Chuck
see.
Smith,
Yeah. Chuck,
right?
I seen that Chuck Smith was a dog.
Bruh. And so he has, he's kind of the first person to really get out there and monetize everything in training, and you know, a lot of stuff that I do from a business standpoint, Chuck, did it before me, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to sit down with him today and visit, and he's always been tremendously open and gracious, and Pat trains with Chuck, right? So, a guy like Solomon Thomas, who trained with me since he was in high school, that's the type of relationship that Pat has with Chuck. And so, Pat's here with me for pre-drafting, but that's actually, Chuck Smith's guy. So we had an
Mm-hmm.
extensive conversation about him today, and he's going to check all the boxes. He's going to check all the boxes. He's a very productive edge rusher. He's a kind of an edge guy where he's a hybrid. He can drop into coverage. Really, really good football player, man. I mean, just if you're an odd surface, if you want a 30 and you need a guy that's kind of can rush and drop, man, that's Pat Jones, man. He can go. He can go.
Yeah, I seen a few of his tape. He's the word that you said, the word I saw was relentless.
Yeah,
When I watched him, he is always just keeps going and going and going.
yeah.
And he's got some pretty good size too at the position. So, I like to see what he can do. Another kid
Yeah.
that I that got me, two guys that kind of got my eyeballs raised. Want to see what you say about them. Janoris Robinson, teammate of Marvin Wilson. Uh, he got a lot of talent, man. Maybe didn't show it at Florida State because I think maybe the whole team maybe kind of underachieved because Florida State was doing some underachieving things. But I think he's got a lot of talent. And I'm looking at his measurables. I mean, he's got 6'5", 200 and almost 70 pounds.
Yeah, about 268 right now.
Yeah, tell me about Janoris Robinson. I think he could be a sleeper. I think he could be a hell of a sleeper for a team.
I'm gonna send you a picture of this dude, man. So J Rob is he puts me in the mind frame of a Javon Curse. Okay. His 40 times going to blow people away. He's got the largest wingspan in history. This dude's arms are amazingly long. Okay. And he understands how to play with leverage. He uses that wingspan. I mean, he understands how to set his moves up, and he'll reach out and touch guys. He'll be a better pro than he was a collegiate player.
That's what I was thinking too, and that's what a lot of when I read I mean to cut you off, but when I read a lot of the publications about him as well, they were saying what you saw in the pro colleges is not what you're going to forecast, what you're going to see in the pros, especially if you get a coach that can really bring that out of him. He could really be doggish out there.
Right, man. He's a perfect example of. And remember now, he came out. He could have gone back to school.
That's a big dude, man.
Yeah, you see that picture I sent you?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, man. So you're talking. He is going to project as a far pro than he was a collegiate player, and I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, it does. It happens all the time. Yeah, man. So,
but just like you said, big dog, the scheme. Sometimes they go to a college and the scheme, might be one way, or maybe the coach gets fired while they're there in college, and I'm not playing you right here. You're going to play you here, and that might not be the best position. And then you get to the NFL, and all of a sudden you explode because they're allowing you to be free in what you really do best. And maybe those coordinators are going to allow you to do it. Plus, they're getting paid to do this, so if they draft, they're going to try to bring that everywhere at college. It may be a little bit more maybe a little more politics. I don't know. But I got a few more guys, man. Those are some guys I mentioned. But you have a guy that you were telling me about, Taron Jackson from Coastal Carolina. What about him?
Big time sleeper, man. Big time sleeper. And again, we're talking about production. He was the best defensive lineman on a team that went 11-1. You remember now they were 10-0. They lost their bowl game to, I believe it was Liberty, with a bunch of people out with COVID protocol. So
they beat BYU, right?
They did.
Yeah, they gave BYU their only loss. And when I saw Coastal Carolina, I was like, Coastal Carolina, what the hell?
Yeah, man. So TJ is, I'm gonna say he's athletic enough to play linebacker. And he's probably 265, 267 right now. He's in that picture I sent you. He's all the way to the far left in the maroon sweatsuit. He's twitty enough. He's athletic enough to play linebacker, and we've actually done some cross training with him with the linebackers because we expect for some teams to want to see him move in space at his pro day. He's a sleeper. He can play the four eye. He's strong. He's extremely strong. He can hold point. But he's also athletic enough to play on the edge. And he's strong enough to go down and play the 3. So, be interesting. I'm really, really interested to see where he lands. I don't. He's not a top 90 guy, but he's the type of player that, given the opportunity, he's gonna really be able to contribute for someone that puts him in the right position.
Now, I've been listening to you about the positions, and I think a lot of people may know them. But when you're saying like the 4I, kind of give the people out here when you're kind of talking about that. Even maybe when you're saying the 5, what are these positions? Maybe some people may not know.
So when we talk about that numbering system, it goes to alignment. And so when we talk about a 4I or a 4, let's just start there with a 4. That's when you line a guy head up on the offensive tackle. Okay. And that happens a lot in an odd surface or a 3-man front where you have 3 down linemen. When you say 4I, the I stands for inside. And so now we're lining up a defensive lineman on the inside shoulder of the offensive tackle. Okay. And so when we talk about a 5 technique, we're on the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle. If we say a 6 is going to line up head up on the tight end. And so if there's no tight end there, we would line up where that tight end would be. All right. So all these numbers, they correspond to our alignment. So when we talk about a 1 technique is on the center. It doesn't matter which side, but he's primarily going to be in the A gap. All right. So that's a 1. Head up on the guard is a 2. Outside shoulder at the guard is a 3. Right. And so when we talk about 4Is and 5s, we're talking about where they play at in the defense, where their alignment is.
And usually
I hope I explained that clearly.
Yeah, it's clear. And usually when you got the 1 or that 0, that is pretty much their job is really to stuff or take on double teams. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. You want a guy that is going to occupy 2 blockers. So a 0 is head up on the center, right? Most of the time, your nose guard, whether he's a 1 or a 0, he's going to be a 2 gap guy, and he's supposed to eat up as many offensive linemen as he can. If it took both guards in the center to block him, then it's a win for the defense. Yeah.
Now, like, so when we're talking about those 3s and 5s and 7s, the farther you're getting out, that's when you're getting more pass rushing. Now, when you're getting the 3, because they say that's the defensive tackle, that's going to be more the pass rushing guy that's going to be able to get upfield. Is he going to be? Do you want that 3? Obviously, you want him good in the run game, but what is his specialty? Because we know that 0 and that 1, he's going to hold up that double team, try to keep those linebackers free, maybe push that pocket up the middle. What's that 3? Really, is he your money guy in that middle?
It depends on the scheme.
Okay.
It depends on the scheme, but your 3 technique needs to be able to rush the passer. Most of the time, that 3 technique in pass is going to have a one-on-one with the guard, right? But he has to be able to take on double teams in the run game because he's gonna get double teamed by the tackle. Depending on the scheme, that 3 technique is gonna have to be able to, prevent from or keep from having his face crossed. If a guard's trying to run outside zone, he's gonna have to be able to, recognize inside zone, step down, squeeze, take on pulling guards, take on pulling tackles. The 3 technique is the position that if you don't have a strong player there, you will get your defense ran on all day long. All right. And so, we a lot of the ends get a lot of the attention and the glory because of the ability to rush the passer. But if you have a solid 3 technique, if you have that solid defensive tackle that can, defend the run on the way to the quarterback, you got yourself something. You got yourself something. And Malik Collins played the 3 technique fantastically for the Cowboys.
He was definitely getting sacks. he was definitely getting sacks over there. His pass rushing ability was really good, and I think that's what Tristen Hill. I feel like that's what they were trying to do when they were preparing, maybe for not Malik to not to be there. When you had an offer of a Tristen Hill, basically because he offers what Malik was offering as well, and I think
Yep.
that's what Marvin Wilson can add to the team. I got a couple other guys on here that I want to ask you. Well, I'm gonna name some names, and you just kind of you would say, Anthony
Yeah.
Hines, Texas A&M.
Had him since he was in the 8th grade.
Really?
That's a player. Oh my goodness, tremendous story. I've been blessed to have Anthony since he was in the 8th grade. 5-star kid coming out of high school. Uh, holds the title of being the most recruited player in modern history as a high school football player. He had 90 offers.
Really?
Absolutely. Goes down to Texas A&M. He's a freshman All-American. Um, dealt with a little bit of the injury bug. He's a hybrid guy. So Anthony's a linebacker, but he rushes the quarterback like a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've had Anthony since November. He opted out as well. And so, it's business as usual for us. And Anthony is going to run a 4.4 in the 40. His footwork is phenomenal. It just depends on need where he's going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, really, 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 really good football player. Man, can play multiple positions. He can play all the linebacker positions. He can play side linebacker. He can play outside linebacker. Hell, he can even play a little bit of box safety. He's that versatile.
Really?
Oh man, yeah, I'm super excited about Anthony. You talk about one of my guys that, again, I've had him in middle school, right? So yeah, man, that's one of my guys.
Yeah, that's crazy. Since you had him since middle school, that's like having your own
Yeah,
kid up there getting ready to go to the league,
pretty,
man.
pretty
That's like
much,
I want to. You feel me?
pretty much, yeah,
And
pretty much.
now I'm gonna mention another guy, Chauncey Goldston, Iowa.
Ghost, yeah, um, big body, big body. Uh, the one thing that stands out with him is uh, his understanding of the game is football IQ. Obviously, you play Big Ten football, you're gonna have to defend the.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Iowa ran one of the most complex defenses I've ever seen, and he really did in it. Where he projects in the NFL because he's so big, I can see teams wanting to put him at a 5 or a 4 or even at a 3. Just a really, really big, long, athlete dude. Puts me in the mindset of a James Smith Williams that I had last year. Just really, really big athlete, man. Another one that I'm interested to see where he lands because he can play inside and outside.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and just kind of rounding out the list, we got William Bradley King from Baylor and Mustafa Johnson from Colorado and Michael D from Rutgers. What's your thoughts on those guys and any sleepers in the group, in this whole group? Who's the biggest sleeper? I named those guys. Who's the biggest sleeper in that whole group?
I think the kid from Coastal, TJ,
Okay.
is the biggest sleeper. Um, William Bradley King, man, from Baylor, is an absolute savage. Um, he's an absolute savage. Um, I think the guy that's going to turn heads. I don't know if you mentioned him or not, but Big Milton,
Oh yeah,
from Louisiana.
yeah, Milton Williams from Louisiana Tech. I was
Ooh,
looking at that. I said, "Tell me, hold up," because I think you was highlighting him.
hey man, ooh wee. He is going to test his numbers are going to look just like Aaron Donald's or better.
Really? Okay, you
Hey
heard it
man,
over here first.
hey. So I was at University of North Texas a couple weeks ago, visiting with their offensive line. I hang out with O-line coaches, right?
Right.
That's where you learn, right? And we were talking about Milton, and he goes, Tuck, we could not block him. He gave us fits. We just could. There was nothing that we did. We threw everything at him. We couldn't block him. And he has a gear that he switches into with his speed and his burst. It's amazing. And so when I tell you his numbers are going to look like Aaron Donald's, his numbers are going to look like Aaron Donald's. That doesn't mean he's Aaron Donald, right? I'm not going to put that type of pressure on anybody. You talk about a football alien in AD, but his numbers, NFL guys are analytical guys. His numbers are going to look just like Aaron Donald's. All right. So you're talking about the best player in the NFL defensively, who's 6'1", 265. The best player in the NFL. This dude's going to look like him on his pro day. Yeah, it's big milk. Mustafa, undersized guy, plays with tremendous leverage. He's gonna make someone's roster. Who was the last one that you? Oh, we didn't talk about Hamilcar.
Rashard Hamilcar from Oregon State.
From Oregon State. Another guy that is a little bit slept on. Had a phenomenal.
Is he undersized? Is he undersized too?
No. Actually, he's what happened is I think he had double-digit sacks his junior at Oregon State. And then his senior year, they decided to drop him instead of rushing him. But he has a natural knack to get after the quarterback. He's definitely slept on. But back to Mustafa, undersized guy, very athletic, very quick. Student of the game. Like I said, he'll make somebody's roster. And then we talked about Bradley King. He's a savage. He's a savage, man. I mean, that dude is, what you from the mindset that's what you want as a football player. Just everything is 100 miles an hour, and it's his mindset is just kill everything.
That's the mindset I want up in these Cowboys. So you know what, we need to get a few of them. And there's one more cat I forgot to mention, Peyton Turner.
Peyton is from Houston, right? So Peyton is in the same mold as Golston from Iowa. A really, really big body, man, that can play the 3 and the 5. Again, the team that picks him up and the system that plays in as a professional is going to have so much to do with his success in the NFL. I mean, he has to go to
the right system.
Absolutely. Yes, go to a team knows how to utilize his skill set. Yeah. But another just really big dude. Like when you see him, you're like, God, dog, that's a big dude. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, this draft, man, for real, I mean, it was good last year, but I mean, this is really real depthy on D tackles, D ends, and there's some big boys up in here, man. Like I said, with the way the draft is, and if the Cowboys don't trade any kind of picks or anything like that, Cowboys can really, for the first time, especially with the new defensive coordinator and Dan Quinn, and I feel like he really does go after defensive tackles. He does go after them, and I feel like this is the year where you're going to see it. So the guys that you're training, I really feel like in this group, Cowboys can get at least 2 of these guys for real. Like, can really get a couple of these dogs. It would be nasty, which I don't think is going to happen. That was just be wishful thinking. If they got Tyler Shelvin and Marvin Wilson together,
Where did the Cowboys pick? Where's their first pick this year?
10th. They're not going to pick a defensive tackle at 10.
No, no, I'm still like they got other areas of need that need to be
Yeah, they're
addressed.
not going to do that. That's what I'm saying. That now here's the thing, and they Aleem McNeil's out there. There's some other guys, but here's where the tricky one is. It's going to be that second and third pick, because if they stay where they're at and they don't do a trade, I believe they're at 44, and I feel like that's where a guy you might be like, you know what, we probably think him on third, but somebody might try to scoop him, so we might go second. And I think that's where maybe, in my opinion, Marvin and maybe Tyler, those guys in that second round, in my opinion, they could get scooped up by the Cowboys at that pick, because somebody might say they ain't gonna last to the third round where the Cowboys, if the Cowboys try to get them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
Yeah.
where they're projecting, but combines change things, training, those change things. So we'll kind of see. But the trajectory right for now for those guys and a lot of the publications around that third and fourth round.
Yeah. I've seen some of the wildest things happen in the draft with where they have guys slotted. I don't see either one of those guys being available in the third round. I don't see Tyler being available in the third round, or head honcho being available in the third round.
Yeah, and I feel like that's changing, because when I first saw him, I thought they could, but when I watched Marvin, then when I seen him again, I'm like, he ain't lasting to. I don't feel like he would last to the third. I think he got
Yeah,
too
I
much
don't think
talent.
so either.
And then Shelvin, he's just a big body word that's rare. You know, I mean, he's rare.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I don't think there's some other big boys, but like you said, he's more athletic than them other 350s and 360s.
Yeah. So and I've talked to both of the guys about timing. Last year's draft was extremely deep for interior guys. Extremely deep. This year's draft got some good guys that play on the inside, but it's not as deep as last year's draft was. And then on the back end, you've got some really talented guys that are in the league right now that are on the tail end of their careers. And so I think you'll see some guys go sooner than what they would have gone in the past.
Right.
From an interior standpoint. So I just don't see Marvin or Shelvin being there in the third round. Actually, I hope they're not. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. We want better. We want even higher. And I agree with that. And I'm even say that to me, with certain linebackers, even with the linebacker core, because there's certain linebackers I feel like that are really good, but I don't think the linebacker core is super great. So guys may go higher when you don't maybe have that depth, or you just don't have a whole bunch of dominating type players. They'll get overdrafted because maybe it's just not as plentiful as drafts before. So I think that may be happening. But definitely this is a draft that the Cowboys can scoop one of these guys. And I'm going to keep throwing it out there. I definitely wouldn't be mad with those two guys in particular. Not hating on any of these guys on the list, but I like those two in particular from me. Those would be cool guys. And I would look at a Bobby Brown. If I see more consistent, I would, in my opinion, get him maybe. Obviously, we want him higher, and you're the trainer, so you want him higher. But if you get him lower for the Cowboys, that'd be good. And then you know what? A defensive end maybe late. I know we got Randy Gregory, and then you got Alden Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence, and they got Dorrance Armstrong, Bradley, and Nyes in the fold. But I think you can still get another defensive end to push that room. That's the thing that I like. You was talking, push that room. Maybe get somebody in the 6th and 7th round. Push that room, because you never know. Guys might slip up and the injury may happen, and that guy come in and be a godsend. You never know. That's the way it happens in the NFL and in sports in general. So it can happen any kind of way.
When was the last time the Cowboys didn't bring in two defensive ends in the draft? Oh, they're gonna draft the end.
Yeah, they're going to bring it in. I think they're
Yeah,
definitely going to bring it in.
they're gonna bring it in. Then it's just what they do.
Yeah, they're going to bring it in then because they
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
because like I said, contracts are coming up, restructures thing, and you can say all you want as far as the player goes, but you got to also look at the money, and the money dictates where players go to. So we'll see how it all kind of folds and pans out. But I do really appreciate you coming out here, man, coming on here and be able to talk about these guys. You're doing an awesome thing. I think one of my Facebook friends said on the page was like, he really admires what you do for these young kids. And it's not, like I said, it's not even the college guys. You've been doing with, just like you said, you had the one kid, Anthony Hines, since middle school. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing because, when I coached, I mean, it was a great thing. I took a year off. I mean, I took 3 years off. I went back in, and then COVID hit us, and I was pissed off because I was getting back in the scheme of things. I was ready to go, and I had some talent, B. I got some talent. I was geeked, and then COVID came. We had to end it all. So it hurt me, but it feels good because I still got some guys right now that are playing major college football, and for them to still talk to you and still calling you coach and say, "Hey, what's up, coach?" You feel
Yeah.
like, well, damn, that's dope that you still remember me in that aspect, and I know what
Yeah.
you're doing, especially you're I mean, you're doing with the kids young, high school, middle school,
Yeah,
high
man.
school, college, NFL. Man, it's just awesome what you're doing, man, for these young men out there. You're teaching them to be great. You're teaching them how to manage their money. You're teaching them life skills. You're teaching them things outside of football. And that's what a lot of people don't have. And even with the trainers nowadays, some people just be out for the money and, just look at you as a cash cow, what they can get from you. I don't never
For
get that
sure.
from you. And you're honestly a really good person. I think that's why a lot of these kids come with you. And if you look at your track record, there are a lot of them that are very successful in the league right now. So big
Man,
shout outs to you, big dog. What you do?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. And it's a plan. It's something that we talk about. I mean, it's strategic from the standpoint of when I have a player come to me for training. Our number one goal is to get us at whatever level, whether it's Division 1, 2, or Division 3. Um, play college football to be able to trade your athleticism for an education is something that you know these guys have to take advantage of, and it's something we talk about. Like these are conversations that we have all the time in the program, and my guys that have had the opportunity to go play in the NFL. To kind of elaborate on what you said about you know not asking from them. I ask my guys for two things. Um, when I call to pick up the phone and to break bread with me at least once a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are my old guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have so many people that are asking them for literally bills to be paid. Um, you know, it's a blessing to be part of their journey. Take it as a huge responsibility, man. And I want to be I want to be an advocate of theirs. I don't ever want to add to someone's someone's plate or of responsibility. So that's something that we're very very cognizant of, myself and entire staff. We want to make sure that even my professional guys that are making that get checks with like telephone numbers, we're constantly asking them, what do you need, right? Um, I can tell you a really quick story about Alden.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this year for Christmas, I say, hey, man, what do you want for Christmas? And this dude just like kind of genuinely said, man, you know what? I can't remember the last time someone asked me what I wanted for Christmas. Everybody's always telling me what they want for Christmas.
He said, "What?"
I mean,
That's
something,
crazy. Isn't that crazy?
bro, that's so small, right?
But
Um,
they deal with that all the time.
yeah, man. So it's been a tremendous blessing to be in this space. Um, like I said, myself and my entire staff, we take this thing very, very, very seriously because it's player development, man, and player development just kind of organically turns into building, men, right? And you know as well as I do, I don't have to tell you this, but football is the greatest teacher of life's lessons. And the
For
main
sure.
thing is how to deal with adversity. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, the game has changed. The culture around the game has changed. You can't the same way that you used to be able to. You've got to almost be a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of personality. You've got to be a stark raving lunatic on the football field to play in the trench. What we ask of defensive linemen and offensive linemen is to go hit someone full speed and try to inflict as much harm on someone 65 times in a game. And then we expect someone that can exhibit that type of violence and physical nature to step off the field and be in such a sensitive society that we're in today, right? I mean, just imagine that.
That's deep what you just said. I've never really looked at it as, I never really looked at it in that aspect, and that's a deep aspect that you said that. I mean, you're smashing people every single play. You're playing crazy. You're a gladiator. You are a gladiator for real. You are a gladiator. And then when you do all that violence on the field and trash talking and talking crazy and just going nuts, then you got to come back off the field and decompartmentalize everything. And like you said, can't say this on Twitter. You can't say this on your Facebook. You can't say this on Instagram. You can't say none of that no more. Because I'm like, what? And then you're like, well, damn, you said it. Why can't I say it? Why are you held to a different standard than me?
Right.
But then it's crazy. But then that's when people are like, well, it's crazy, man. It's all crazy.
And that's why I kind of wanted to jump out there and defend Tristen a little bit, because again, we lose the human nature of this thing, right? Mm-hmm. 22 years old, you got a multi-million-dollar contract. There's a light on everything that you do, whether it's positive or negative. And we expect for these dudes to not make any mistakes. If I were to be held accountable for what I did when I was 21 and 22, my goodness,
man,
right?
Big trouble.
Yes, for sure. So, and not to, obviously everyone that plays any type of professional sport, they know what they sign up for,
right?
But for me in my position, these guys are babies, man. I mean, they're babies, literally. You got guys in their early 20s, and being a fan, seeing them the way, like, I don't see these guys the way fans do until I happen to go to a game.
Right.
And I don't like going to games. I don't like being around that many people, but it just puts it in a different perspective. You walk out to a Cowboy game, and my goodness, there's, almost 60,000 out there.
I mean, it's fixed up to 100.
They're tailgating, sometimes the night before the game, and every single person in that stadium knows every single player on that team. Just to put it in perspective, right? We signed up for it, but imagine the immense pressure to then, after all that, be a normal dude, go to the grocery store or go out to eat, right? I mean, it's bananas. It's bananas, man. And I really just try to advocate for my guys, be there for them, support them. They know I'm not going to ever ask them for anything, man. So again, man, I know I digress a little bit, but it's a tremendous blessing for me to be in this space, man. I appreciate you having me on, man, and giving me an opportunity to share a little bit of insight to what goes on, especially in the pre-draft process. This class will make over 100 guys that I've had a chance to, walk with in this process, man. And it's humbling, to say the least. Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's easy, bro. It is. It is. So, man, I'm really appreciative, man, that you having me on again. Like you said, at the start of the show, man. If they knew, if everybody knew how crazy it was to get
Man,
this thing going tonight.
I mean, we was sitting there like I was just like, man, we're gonna just be hood styled in. I don't care. I'm just gonna have a little tiny box with your name, and I'm gonna be hood style with it. I don't care. And I know you was like, nah, we can't do it like that. We can't. We just can't do it like that. This can't work like that. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But like I said, IT guy came in the Cobra clutch and got it right
Man,
for real, for real. See, that's what I'm saying. You need them young people nowadays because I wasn't raising this generation. Just because I look
not at
young,
all.
don't mean I know none of this stuff. Because I be getting tricked like a motherfucker. I be like, damn, I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I be looking at some of that stuff, be like, man, I don't know what that is. Come over here. Oh, that's just this.
yeah.
Do. It ain't just that
Right.
to me.
Yeah. What? 2 laptops and 2 phones later, man. We
You You feel
finally got it.
me? You feel me? I finally updated, but dog, like I said, man, I really appreciate you, everything you do. Man, this is going to be an annual thing. Whenever we talking football, draft, all this good stuff. Whenever you get a Cowboys player training, then you're coming on the show, and we're going to talk about it, and that's just what it's going to be. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
So,
For
just
sure.
really appreciate you, man, and I'm going to keep an eye on this process. Keep on showing them videos out to me, shooting them little things to me. Let me know how they doing because, like I said, I really would love to get either a Tyler Shelvin or Marvin Wilson on the Cowboys in that building. That would be something I would smile about because I definitely think both of those guys could definitely add to the team, and especially head honcho, that attitude that he has. I really need that in the building.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that if it were to happen, it'd be a great fit for either one of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. Well, hey man, let everybody know, where they can find you, Trench Warfare. Anybody they want to check out my guy Brandon Tucker, what he does outside of this is training. If you got any kids that want to get involved, and they in that area that you are in, hey, somebody could be in the feed and say, I'm looking to get my kid into something like this. This could be an opportunity.
yeah,
So please let everybody know where they can find you if somebody may want an opportunity or get some information.
man. Absolutely, man. So, Twitter, it's at TWF Training. Instagram is dline_guru. Uh, the website is www.trenchwarfare.us. Reach out to us and on any one of those platforms. We train year round, and we've gotten to the point now we're putting on showcase events. We're currently doing 2 events. They're exposure events for the big skill. Right. So I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times offensive linemen and defensive linemen sometimes take a back seat to a little skill. And when I say that, I'm talking about with exposure. So receivers, DBs, quarterbacks, running backs, they got 7-on-7. the big skill are left typically on the sideline, cheering. And so myself and my tremendous partners, we've put together a competition event called Trench Bullies. And it has taken off. It's been amazing because colleges with COVID, they do not have the ability to move around and go visit schools like they have in the past. And so
Right.
an event like Trench Bullies that not only do we live stream, but we also record, and then we provide our participants, very, 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 very good, well put together camp tape. And so they're able to send that to schools. And, I can say that we've had over 100 scholarships offered in the past 5 events that we've done. And so not to that number might seem really, really big, but when you have a particular player who had his recruitment jump started and he has 35 offers now, you see, so it's been a tremendous exposure event that's called Trench Bullies. We'll do at least 5 of those this year in the region. And then my flagship event, which we'll be doing March 27th to 28th, is called Pass Rush School. And so, it's a 2-day event. The first day is an instructional day. The second day is a competitive day. We allow guys to come out, learn the same techniques we teach our professional guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then come out the second day and compete. And again, just provide a platform for exposure. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the big skill gets all the attention that they deserve. Man, it's been a great response to both events. So if you have a high school aged offensive lineman or defensive lineman, and you need to get that player some exposure, reach out to us. Reach out to me. Be more than happy to visit with you about potentially coming out to one of the events that we put on. This year's first Pass Rush School is going to be the 27th and 28th. And then we'll put on Trench Bullies throughout the year, man. So, look us up. Trench Warfare is the website. Twitter at TWF Training. And then Instagram is D-line_guru, man. And, man, I appreciate you, Jennifer, for having us on, man, and being a tremendous supporter, man. It means a lot. It really does.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
you feel me? Period, point blank. That's what we're here for. So you don't even need to be speaking about it. That's what we're here for. So that's all good. So it's for life. So keep doing your thing, big dog. I'm going to talk to you soon. I'm going to keep checking on you, and let's get them boys up in Cowboy land, man, so I can say, guess what? You got some more guys you can train and talk about in Cowboy land.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, man. Sure. I appreciate you, dog, and have a good night and be safe.
You too, bro. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Appreciate you. Sweet.
Yep.
All right. I'm about to get up off here, but before I do, I heard a lot of y'all talking, looking. I'm looking in here. What's up, Hulk? What's up? Shout out to everybody in the building. Justin D. Shout out for that donation. My dog, Uncle Charles. What's up with you? Iceberg Slim. Love the name. I hear a lot of y'all talking here. Hulk, what's up with you, dog? How you doing, man? I'm listening to Justin D, and I'm hearing you, what you're saying about that. What's up next? I'm about to go to bed. For real, I'm about to go to bed. Tired, man. I've been up all day, worked like 10 hours, man. But I had to get my dog on here because we were supposed to do it yesterday. But he had a long day, so we weren't able to do it. But I just was listening to y'all, what y'all talking about. I agree with you on that second or third pick with Gallup. I've been saying that the Michael Gallup thing, I ain't nobody hating on. People would be thinking that you be hating on players, or you hating. I'm not hating. That's being smart. Like, if you got a player that's coming up for a contract and you don't think you're gonna pay him, then I feel you, Justin. But if you see that you got a player that you could possibly not sign, which I don't think is going to happen with Michael Gallup. It's not going to happen. I feel like he's going to command money. He's going to want money. He deserves to get paid. I mean, he's going to want money. But he's not going to do it in Dallas. You already got Amari with big money. CD's going to be coming up soon. You have to draft somebody else, and you got to be looking at, before those guys go, before the thought of them being done with your team, get some compensation for them. And I think I was talking with my guy Mike White. He was talking about, you can let them play the whole year out, and then you can get some compensation for them, but it won't be till like 2022 or 2023. Like, the pick is going to be later, where if you could deal it now, you could get it now, you could flip it, and you could still, you got Michael Gallup in the third round, you can make it happen. Like, you have to be able to look at all things as far as trades, players, acquisitions, things of that nature to make your team better, especially if guys coming up on expiring contracts and you don't think that those guys will be signed, especially if you look at the trajectory of the team. Michael Gallup is a receiver. Not receivers are a dime a dozen, but when you do have a player, Cooper, you still have him for at least a couple more years. You know what I'm saying? He's not old. Cooper's still in his prime. And, you know, Cooper's the dog. Cooper is the alpha. And then I feel like CD Lamb is right there. You know what I'm saying? CD Lamb is right there. I think, I know CD has some issues with the hands, but I don't think he has a hands problem. I don't think Lamb has a hands problem. I think he's going to be even better this year. So you got two guys right there. Cedric Wilson, I'm not saying he's an animal, but he's more than serviceable. I think Noah Brown stepped up too. And I think you could draft another receiver, man. So you got to look at those things before you lose a player for, you know, what you can probably get more. So, no, we did not talk about him because he is not training them. I basically brought all the guys on here that he is training. But Tonga, I did a video on him from BYU. As I said about Tonga, um, Tonga is a player that, in my opinion, I wouldn't get him till like fifth or sixth round because the thing with Tonga is I feel like he's already this is what he is. He's not Tonga's not gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna his ceiling is already done. I feel like that's what he is. What you see from Tonga is what you're going to get. I feel like you're going to get a 10-year player that's going to hold up that middle, give you some pass rush here and there. Not going to be some dominant guy that's going to be a dominant player in the league. I don't think he's going to be that. So I think that's why if you would get him or look at him, he would be your second defensive tackle. He wouldn't be your first defensive tackle off the board. No. If he was your first defensive tackle off the board, I'm not feeling good about that. So if you got him later though, and you got a dog at your first DT, and then he came in on the back end, I feel better. But I just feel like he's his ceiling is already here. And he has the size and everything. And like I said, he'll be a stout player. But right now, I think Dallas, in my eyes, we need difference makers now. And when I just keep on watching that Marvin Wilson tape, I keep liking him more and more. And honestly, I like him way more now because he's training with my dog, and that kind of maybe solidified it. I had some worries with Marvin Wilson even when I watched tape of him and did a video. That's the only worry I had was he hot and cold? Like is he going to be playing every single down? Is he going to give up plays? Is he going to get the money and not train as hard? Like those are things I worried about from afar. The talent's there. He's different, and I think the mentality is different too. I think he's a guy that mentality wise we want in the middle, and man, like I said, he is super in shape. 315 don't even look 315. Oh, and I think he's motivated. And then that Shelvin kid, and like I said, give him a shout out to my guy Jay Tuck on him. He did the video for him, kind of opened that door to me with Shelvin. I had this is before I was really even looking at the draftable players, and he did a video on them. I seen that size, and I was like, oh, let me check Shelvin out. You know what I'm saying? What the whole hum is, and like I said, the only thing I'm worried about is the weight concern. But he's been training with B since October, so that's a good thing. But he's athletic enough. Like if I would see him in Tonga, I'm taking him over Tonga all day because he's more athletic. He has more of he trajects more. He's still going higher. I feel like he's gonna get better. I feel like he's not here. He's gonna continue to get better, get in the right system. He's really gonna be good. So that's the difference between those guys. There's some guys that just gonna take up space and hold it, and then that's what they're gonna do. And those other guys are gonna take up that space and hold it, but they're gonna be in that backfield too. They're gonna be making plays on the run game. They may get a sack here and there, but those are the guys that are different. And I think that's what the Cowboys need, somebody different in there, difference makers. Got edgy players. I want to see what Anai can do, but I feel like they got the edgy players, and you can still scoop a D in late. But I feel like they got those edgy guys, but they need to solidify that middle. It's been talked about, and this is a year you can definitely solidify your middle for you, whether in free agency and in the draft. You can make it happen this year. It can happen. You see, just signed your quarterback to the deal. That's something that nobody has to talk about for the next few years. You got your core of your offensive team still there intact. Like I said, the average age is 26.7 years. So it's not an old team by any means, but you got to shore up this defense in this middle. You got to get a defensive mindset. And like I said, you got your quarterback back now. You can make it happen. You got money where you can move around this year and make it happen. You got to be shrewd in this draft because we've been going back through the drafts and we've been saying there've been some good drafts, but yeah, there've been some good offensive drafts. Been some damn good offensive drafts. You go back from I've been going from 2010, been hella offensive drafts, damn good ones, but defensive not so much. Not been good. And I showed the positions since 2010 on the tackles, safeties, corners, and linebackers. Haven't been great. Haven't been great at all. So, you know, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull that list up before I get off here right quick because like, and I didn't do D tackles yet. But I mean, since 2010, the defensive backs: Jamar Wall, Josh Thomas, Morris Claiborne, B.W. Webb, Ahmad Dixon, Terrence Mitchell, all them. None of them. Byron Jones, we saw when that finally happened. He's gone. Anthony Brown. I don't think Anthony Brown. He could be a cap casualty this year and wouldn't bother me. Cheeto hasn't lived up to second round billing, although I think he could still have a place in Dallas. I just wouldn't look at him as a second round godsend. That's my mentality was over with Cheeto with that. Like I'm not looking at him like the second round guy that's going to be great for Dallas now. I'm just thinking you're a regular guy. So pay him like a regular guy if you were to bring him back. Jordan Lewis, I loved him. I always said that Jordan Lewis, I loved Lewis. If Jordan Lewis had a Cheeto's body, you'd be having an animal right there. But I just feel like Jordan's time is gone, and I don't think he's going to maybe get a high market, but he's going to want to get a chance to play. So I just don't think that's going to happen. Michael Jackson, nope. Trevin Diggs, yes, definitely. Arrows up with him. Reggie Robinson, love to see more. And I wish we could have saw more. It was a washed season, but when you look at all those names, not a great list. Not great drafting. That's for 10 years. Then, like I said, we go to linebackers. I feel you. Then when you talk about linebackers, obviously we know Sean Lee could have been an all-world player. Was definitely a good, very, very good player. But we know with the injuries, when I remember him and Bruce Carter. That was that duo that everybody was talking about. That was going to be the duo for the next 10 years. And Carter started getting hurt, and then he fell off when whatchamacallit killed him in that Chargers game. He was killing him in the coverage. Kyle Wilbur, no. Caleb McSturdy, no. Devontae Holloman, I wanted so bad to see Holloman that damn neck injury because he was showing. Anthony Hitchens, I liked Hitchens, but I knew they weren't going to pay him. He went on and got a Super Bowl. Will Smith, nope. Damian Wilson also went to the Chiefs and got a Super Bowl. I like Wilson, did a write-up on him. He was just madly inconsistent, but he was better than a lot of guys that we had. But both of them went on and got a Super Bowl. Martin Nijotska, if that's what it was, he just annoyed me. The Cowboys kept him on the roster for all them years and kept on hyping him like he was going to do something because he had the size and was nothing. Jalen Smith, we all know about. LVE, we all know about. Chris Covington, I don't even know why they kept him on the roster, but LVE, he's got to stay healthy. I don't know if he ever will be. I think it's Sean Lee Part 2, like everybody says, but because if you've been injured your whole life, all of a sudden you miraculously don't be healthy. It's just doesn't ever work like that. And then Jalen Smith, I mean, he's got to step his game up. He's not going anywhere this year, so he's got to step the hell up, and that's the only thing you can really say about that with him because there's too much of stuff you can say about him. And then if we talk about, I'm gonna get out before I get off here, just saying this. These are the safeties that have been drafted since 2010. Matt Johnson, that's my dog. Shout out to you, dog. Matt Johnson, that's my boy for life. And I really think Matt Johnson really could have did something, not just because we cool. And my boy, he had talent. Matt really did have the talent. Just once again, injuries, but he hasn't been injured his whole career. It just kind of happened at the end. So that's what it was so strange with me with him. Akwasi Owusu Anase. He's actually from Columbus, Ohio. Played a ball out here in Columbus, Ohio. But yeah, no. JJ Wilcox, hell of a hitter, man. I can't hate on JJ Wilcox for that hitting. He would hit your ass. Like I'm not gonna hate on JJ Wilcox. He did. It's not his fault. He played running back and then they converted him to safety. Threw Byron Jones in there just because that's what they originally drafted him for. I guess Xavier Woods. That's a bad word right now. Damian Wilson finally got on the field. I wanted him when they drafted him out. I didn't say he was going to be special, but I thought when they drafted it was something about Donovan Wilson. When I listened to his draft call, this was like, yeah, this is the type of guy I want. Not me, but this type of guy you want in your building because he just sounded like I want this more than anything. So, and you saw his ability. And then I put a note in for Barry Church and Jeff Heath. Both of them were undrafted, but they played heavy parts in those years and roles. And then Reggie Robinson, but he was drafted as a corner. They moved him to safety, and they are smartly moving him back to corner because I don't know what you were thinking about that when that happened. And the defensive tackles, I'm going to do a defensive ends probably tomorrow. But the defensive tackle class, when I mentioned the safeties, not that good at all. Just not that good. You had undrafted people being better than the drafted people. But this defensive tackles, not good at all. Since 2010, first of all, he hadn't drafted a lot of defensive tackles. But since 2010, Sean Lessamore, Ken Bishop, Joey Ivy, Jordan Carroll, Malik Collins, no longer with the team. Tristen Hill, the jury's out. And Gallimore, who I really like. I like Hill too, but Gallimore, I really like how his trajectory is going up, but not great for that defensive tackle class is just now looking okay. And even when I talk about the defensive ends haven't been great since 2010. Jamarcus Lawrence, but he is just now showing what he is doing after like 2017, 2018. So he's just now showing. Randy Gregory, we know how much of a dog he is, but he's just now showing. He's just now getting on the field. These draft picks are just now showing it. Been like 2 or 3 years. You feel me? Where the other guys, the other original players, Dorrance Armstrong Jr., no, there hasn't been a lot of. So when you really go back and look at these drafts defensively since 10 years ago, because a lot of people, that's why I went to a 10-year span because those guys would still be on the team. Where are these guys at? Where are these core players? Where are these dogs on your team? Except a few. And like I said, that door is just now happening with them. But it's a lot of suspect players on the team. So they got to do better defensively, and this is a year they got to do it, and they have to consistently do it. They can't just say, okay, yeah, we address it this year. No, you got to consistently build that up year in and year out, just like your offense. We know this offense sells the tickets in Dallas and all that good stuff, but if they keep on having a mediocre defense or this bend don't break type defense, it's just always going to fail them when it matters the most. And they need to get a mindset of, no, that's not what it's going to be here. You need to get the mindset of, yeah, our offense is damn good, but so is our defense. And it's okay to have a damn good offense and a damn good defense. It's okay to have that balance. You don't have to have it one-sided. You don't have to have this all-world offense and, oh, we'll have all-world offense because we can outscore everybody, have this mediocre-ass defense. You don't got to be like that. Just like you don't have to have this super crazy defense and this trash offense. Have some balance, and you can do it through the draft and free agency. It's not hard. Teams do it. Dallas can too. But I really appreciate you guys. I'm about to get off here. It's 1 a.m, man. I got to get to bed. Got to get up early. Hit that work scene again. But appreciate everybody jumping in. I got some different interviews coming up. We're gonna be on the football side of it, but I'm gonna tap maybe some other things, maybe some financial people, guys, some agent type things. You know, maybe some defensive players that have played for the Cowboys, but have played the position at a high level. Get their insight and their thoughts as well. So going to branch out. Still going to do Cowboys. We're going to branch out on some other interviews with some other guys that maybe not played for the Cowboys, but played at a high level at their position. Just to pick their brain and maybe get some stories. I kind of just want to do that. So if you're interested in checking those out, those will be coming soon. Make sure you stay on board with it if you like. I'm make sure I'm gonna send it to my members. See how y'all like these videos. Like I said, getting some dogs, and they don't have to be just Cowboys. But I got some dogs, not players that are trying to hate either. I think you actually like these guys. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned. The grind is fierce. Never stops. Appreciate all the love, my members, the subs, all you guys. Appreciate you guys for locking in on this late night tonight. And make sure you guys have a good morning tomorrow and stay safe. So for Big Game James, Silver Blue Nation, I'm out. Appreciate y'all. And y'all have a good night. Signing off. You know what I mean? Peace.